cognitive flexibility, which is our ability to kind of view things creatively from different perspectives. That's linked to empathy. Like, it's linked to our ability to kind of snap out of unhealthy patterns of thinking as well. But there's also something closely related to it called coping flexibility, which is our ability to be able to choose wisely and adaptively between different ways of coping with problems. I mean, the simplest example of that is sometimes when you're dealing with other people, it's important to be able to speak up and assert yourself. Other times, I hate to break it to you kids, sometimes you'd be better off zipping it, like, and saying nothing in some situations. But a really smart person will be able to pick their battles, like, and choose. But if you think I have to confront, like attack, assert myself every time, that generally doesn't work out that well, to be honest. Like, even though many people believe that that's healthy. And likewise, always kind of avoiding things and kind of being resigned and accepting doesn't work. Sometimes you need to be able to speak up, but you have to pick your situations. I think Epictetus talks about something very similar to this, but he recognizes that for Stoics, there's this problem. He's famously, he says, how does the bull know that it can kill a lion? Seems like an odd remark to make, right? I didn't know bulls could kill lions, but I did a bit of research on it. Oh boy, they can. Like, so, like a bull that's like in charge of a herd can toss a lion in the air on its horns, make mincemeat of it. Like, but the calves aren't strong enough to fight off a lion. Like, only some of the bulls are powerful enough, strong enough to do that. So Epictetus said, how would you know that you could fight a lion? Like, well, the only way that you would really know is through trial and error. Like, so I think what he has in mind is most ancient philosophers had some experience of martial arts. Like, they did pancration or wrestling or boxing. It's surprising to us now, but even Marcus Aurelius, who was a bit of a weedy nerd, was definitely trained in wrestling and boxing and alludes to it in the Meditations. So did most people, like, in Greek and Roman society. So they're very familiar with the idea of choosing a sparring partner, right? And this becomes a metaphor for life on many levels. But part of it is, if you choose somebody that's too easy to fight, and you're like really experienced, you're a big, strong guy, and you're really fast and you're really skilled, it's going to be you're going to have a sparring partner that's too easy, and you're not going to learn. They're not going to be that much of a challenge for you, right? Perhaps. But if you pick somebody who's twice your size and way more experienced, like much stronger and much faster than you, then you're just going to get your butt kicked, right? And maybe you learn something from that, but it's not going to. You'd be better to pick someone who's more, generally speaking, who's more evenly matched. We said earlier you can learn from novices and stuff as well, but for the most part, you want to pick somebody like that's, if you're sparring with, you might want to pick somebody where you think there's kind of a chance that they might beat you, a chance that you might win, or they're reasonably evenly matched. They're not just going to beat you within the first 2 seconds every time or something like that. And it's not going to be, there's not going to be much opportunity to learn stuff, perhaps, right? So Epictetus says you can only judge this from experience. Like, you through trial and error, you kind of figure out what's too much and what's not enough is a challenge. And in terms of Stoicism, like, how can you, if you can use Stoicism, for example, psychologically, to endure pain, to resist temptation, how do you know? For some people, being promoted to a position of power, they lose their mind. Like, some famously in politics, power corrupts, right? And whereas other people are kind of unfazed by that, right? How would you know? Like, but you have to observe yourself very closely in similar situations and think, I know that, this is a weakness for me, or it's a strength for me, right? you know. And so deciding whether it's a good idea to face certain challenges or you'd be better off avoiding them because it's too much, it's going to overwhelm you. You know, everyone has to decide that for themselves. There's not a standard formula, right? No one is like, unless you're the Stoic sage, you can't throw yourself into every challenging situation because some of them are going to be too much for you. Like it's going to be depressing, or you're going to lose your temper, you're going to succumb to temptation. Like, unless you're saint-like, and you've completely mastered all fear and anger and desire in yourself. And some challenges are going to be a piece of cake for you. But we have to know ourselves. We have to study our strengths and weaknesses and figure out, on the basis of self-knowledge, what would be an appropriate coping strategy for us in different situations, right? And that takes thinking. It takes coping flexibility. It takes, also a part of it is evaluating what aspects of a situation you have control over and which aspects you don't have control over. In some situations, the way you cope might depend on how much time you have, right? So generally,
wisdom, would you say? It sounds like it's practical wisdom, what you're describing.
Yeah, it's a form of practical wisdom.